And there we go. We're live, finally, after only some hurdles, some technical hurdles. Anyway, this is episode number 58 of TEPP, Time and Energy Protection Podcast. If you want to learn more about what I have to say, then go subscribe to my email list. The link to do so is below the episode description, wherever you're watching or listening to this. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Anchor. And that's just that. Let's get rolling. Let's get started with. Hold on a couple of seconds. Oh yeah, let's get started with this whole thing. So today I want to talk about a simple concept that not too many people really talk about in terms of energy creation. Because I hear this so many times. I hear the following so many times. Let me just adjust my camera a little bit. I hear I get I get these comments that I'm full of energy, that I'm exuding energy, that I'm very, very social, that I'm very, very easy to talk to, and that I'm very, very friendly and helpful to other people. And that's something that I'm working on pretty much every single day because I really want to make my company worthwhile to for other people. Just give me a couple of seconds. I'm just gonna have to take care of some minor stuff. Just 2 seconds, and I'll be right back. There we go. And I want to talk a little bit about what it takes to create energy. What does it take to exude energy? I'll give you a short example of why exuding energy and why making other people comfortable in your company is so important. Here's how. Um, a couple of days ago, I was involved in some business transactions. I'm not going to go into details because it's confidential. I don't want to reveal the names of the parties involved, whatever. But let's just say it was important business matters, which would alter the trajectories of the parties involved for the rest of their lives. Let me just say that. So one of the parties involved wasn't exactly as energetic, as friendly, as cool, as interesting as I was. And that's not to brag, because this is what the other people involved in the business transaction were telling me, that I was energetic, that I was social, that I was easy to talk to, and so on. So because of that, because I made them feel at ease, because I didn't mind shooting a joke or lighting people up or whatever, just having a little bit of fun. Um, because of that, I was invited to a dinner party involving several of these business parties, which is a huge deal. And it wasn't any kind of dinner party. It was a dinner party at a residential address, like in their personal homes. I got invited back home to one of the business parties involved, which is a huge deal because, based on my understanding, they didn't really do that, right? Because you're doing business with a client and you kind of sort of really don't know who this person is, because maybe you've been talking to them for a couple of weeks, maybe you've been involved, maybe you've been seeing them physically, hanging around them for maybe a week or two or so, or a day or two or so. So you really kind of don't know who these people are. Now, would you invite them back to your personal home if you didn't like their company? I sure shite wouldn't, right? I mean, this shit is important right here, right? But if someone makes me appreciate their company, if someone makes me like them, if I like to be around other people, then I'm more inclined to invite them back home to my to my residential address. Where we're going to talk business, we're going to talk other stuff, we're going to talk about off the record conversational topics, which potentially could alter your life in a very, very positive way. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know. And I don't need to go into more details in that regard, right? This is how important this thing is, because so many people get this thing wrong. And before I go into more details, I'm actually going to quote something something I heard on Mad Men. The television show Mad Men. I heard about that a long time ago. Let me just get a quick sip of water here. And that quote was, half of business comes down to I don't like this guy or I do like this guy, right? Now, I'm not going to sort of like pretend I'm this successful multimillionaire businessman. Not yet, but I'm going to be one, right? But having said that, I've been around these people and I am around these people, seven-figure net worth individuals, so on and so forth. And I can attest to that firsthand, just how important it is with that proper, well, that first impression, but also that second impression. And if you make a poor first impression, you're really, really, I'm not gonna say you're spoiling your chances because you can make it up, but it certainly makes things more difficult. Now, what's my point here? The point is, I got invited back home to the residential address of one of the business parties involved. Someone else who was worth way more money than me, right? Did not. Why? Well, because I made the other people appreciate my company. That's how important this thing is. It's so important that you get it right. And obviously, I don't need to go into details as far as socializing goes. If you're in a date with a hot girl and you can't even make her laugh or smile, then what the hell are you doing there regardless, right? People don't like you. Another funny story I'll tell you. In another time, another place, whatever. We just finished up having dinner with another business party with which I was involved. Dinner lasted for maybe 2 hours or so, whatever, give or take. And people were sort of like leaving. The place was closing down, and people were ready to go back. And me and a couple of other parties involved. But by the way, there's a reason why I'm using the word or the term party, because I want to keep it strictly anonymous, right? Confidence, confidence, confidence. Um, there's nothing. I can't reveal anything. This is just how business works, right? And then anonymity. That's important. Anyway, so following dinner, dinner's over. People are on their way home. The place is shutting down. Me and some other of the parties involved just stand and talk for a long, long time about everything and nothing, sort of like connecting and bonding together, sharing personal stories, sharing some moments of defeat, sharing some moments of victory, sharing pretty much our lives with each other. That's a great way of building confidence and trust in each other, right? And I'm telling you, that conversation or that interaction lasted for almost longer than the dinner itself. And yet time just flew by so fast. Why? Because we enjoyed each other's company. And this is a great way to build confidence. This is a great way to build relationships. This is a great way to connect with other people, and this is a great way to have your eyes open for more opportunities. Right? Think about that. It makes perfect sense if you just think about it. So that's why happiness. That's why energy is so important, and that's why being social, likable. That's why it's pretty much the key to everything. Now, of course, if all you do is being social and likable, and there's sort of like nothing else to you but that, then that's a different thing. I mean, you need some substance in your life, whether that's skill, knowledge, access to information, privileges. Maybe you can even be sort of like a relationship broker. I don't know if that's a thing, or a relationship maybe coach or whatever, sort of like an intermediary. Then at the very least you can do that, right? Think about it, because I believe I actually heard that on some live stream the other day or a couple of years ago. It was actually the Tony Robbins himself who said that. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Tony Robbins' teachings as far as the whole thing about self confidence, whatever, walk on hot coals, all feel good, success porn, whatever. That's sort of like not my thing. But As far as business goes, the man's a genius. I don't know his net worth is, he's probably a billionaire. What the hell do I know? All I know is rich as fuck. And he, by the way, apologies for swearing, but sometimes I swear, sometimes I don't. Anyway, that's what he said, which means it's important. Anyway, so y'all understand what I mean by now, right? Relationships, building, being energetic, being social, being likable, being trustworthy, actually being a little vulnerable as well. That's actually what Robert Greene taught, and I can go into that as well. Maybe at a later time, but for now, I want to. I want to focus on the whole energetic thing because that's what's sort of like getting me going, and that's what people are saying about me, that I'm energetic, electrifying, I'm uplifting. I'm just literally the inverse of a shy and timid person, right? Nobody likes to be around low energy people like that. I mean, and if you're a low energy person, I apologize, but you got to work on yourself. You really got to do that, even if it means sort of like faking it till you make it. I don't really care. You just need to make other people like you because it's so important. But there's a time and there's a place for everything, of course. Anyway, so the secret sauce, or I used to call it sort of like the secret sauce. The key element, the number one key element to energy, to being social, to being likable is having happiness. It is being happy on the inside. Now, I want to talk a little bit about being happy and about happiness because it's not what so many people think it is. If I walk around smiling like this all the time, that's just fake, right? That's just dumb. No one does that all the time. Number one, and to to that point, as long as there's not a joke being cracked, or as long as I'm sort of like, or as long as I'm not naturally laughing, I never smile or pose with a smile in a photo, right? I never do this. It's just cringe, right? I hate doing that, and it's so. If you know a little bit about body language, you can see it. What when people are small, you can see it in their temple, their eyes, their nose, their cheeks, even their chin. There's so many ways to tell whether a person is smiling properly or not, right? So I never smile. Well, I'm not gonna say I'll never smile because I do, but I never put on a fake smile like so many other people do because that's just cringe. But if I'm already naturally laughing, that's a different thing. And when I'm meeting someone, I'm of course smiling. I'm of course cracking a joke, whatever, and having some fun because it's important. It sets the tone. It sets a precedence, right? But that's all derived from inner happiness because I choose to focus on happiness. I choose to focus on what makes me happy. I choose to be happy altogether. Do you understand just how important that is? Let me just quickly close an app. Right. Do you understand how important that is? Being happy, being naturally happy. Not focusing on the negative, but focusing on the positive. I'll give you an example. So, as this stream is being recorded right now, right here, right now, I'm there are movements happening in Russia. Now I happen to live closer to Russia than most people who are watching this live stream, I would assume. And it could potentially be dangerous for me because I'm so close to geographically, right? And let's say, God forbid, that there's a threat of nuclear war or whatever. Do you think I go around and focus on that? No, I don't. Instead, I go around and focus on myself, my happiness, what I'm going to do, my health, my well-being, everything that makes me happy. That's what I'm focusing on. My achievements, the achievements I will obtain, everything that makes me happy, every possible outcome that could potentially lead to a better future for myself. That's what I'm focusing on. And that's what makes me happy. Even if I'm delusional. And I believe that Andrew Tate also touched on this in one of his many interviews and podcasts. Even if I'm delusionally happy, even if I walk around and I'm dumb because I think about all the happy things, then I much rather want to be dumb because at the very least it makes me happy, right? Don't you want to do the same thing? Now, that's not to say you're supposed to be stupid and dumb, because I'll give you another example. I dread doing physical activity. I'm not at all like a gym rat. I'm not at all an athlete. I just don't like training and working out hard. But I do it pretty much every single day a week. Actually, in fact, today that I'm recording this is Sunday. This is my rest day because my body needs one full day of rest a week. At the very least, that's sort of like the arrangement that I swear by. So I give myself one full rest day a week. But the other days of the week, the other weekdays, it's pretty much, unless there's a special circumstance or occurrence or something that prevents me from training, which is very, very rare, I'm going to train, right? I'm just going to do it. Immediately when I start doing it, I dread doing it. And I could use that as a reason to focus on all the negative stuff that I'm that I'm doing, because when I'm dreading doing something, I feel negative on the inside. But I don't do that, because instead I focus on the outcome. I focus on the fact that I will get in better health. It builds longevity. My health increases. I'm getting more jacked. I'm getting more muscles. I focus on the results. I focus on the good outcome, right? Even recording this video, even sitting down and recording this video was a little bit, it felt like a drag. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, do I need to record a video? But here I'm recording and I'm having so much fun because, and the best part is I'm talking to myself. Now we shall see how well this video ages. I have a suspicion it will age quite well down the line. But this is how important things like these are, right? And especially during this day and age. You know, everyone has access to one of those or these, right? A smartphone. Now, at the very least, every single one who's watching my my videos. I mean, if you don't have access to a smartphone connected to the internet and social media, I don't know what to tell you. You're living in a reality which I don't know. But the overwhelming majority of people have access to a smartphone with and social media, and as such, access to all the world news in today's modern age, right? The modern discourse climate, the modern word exchange climate, or shit exchange climate, as I call it, is terrible, right? People insult each other. People threaten to dox each other. It's all about making the other party look bad instead of getting to a common understanding, right? So people are naturally worried. People are naturally scared. People are naturally health-wise, mentally doing bad. So it's all the more reason to focus on happiness. Now, does that mean that you're not supposed to sort of like naturally or deliberately not focus on what's going on in the world news around you? Of course not. I mean, you need to understand what's going on in the world today. I'm not saying that you're supposed to sort of like block out all the news just because it's a bad influence on your life. No, in fact, all the more reason actually to focus on the news because of geopolitical um, reasons. Where's the world moving? What does the media machine want you to think? And yes, I very much believe that there is someone, or there are someone who pulls the strings, who wants you to think a certain way, because the news media almost always routinely lies or sort of like exaggerates in their presentation of what's going on. Now we can go into that rabbit hole as well. That's really not my job. I don't really do that because that's the thing that really sort of like makes me a little sadder to some degree, because it's just dumb, and so many people actually believe it. However, You need to pay attention to what's going on. Now, here's the caveat: don't take it seriously. You might read about climate crisis. Uh, what else is it? The world overheating, war, supply chain crisis, food crisis, price crisis, inflation. There's a crisis every single being born every single new second. Then you look outside and you see the sun shining, you hear the birds singing, you even interact with people, and you're good. Now we're getting back to the whole thing about making other people feel well, right? Because even though I have a bad, or even though I have an influence of bad stuff happening in my life, that doesn't mean I'm focusing exclusively on it, right? I'm focusing exclusively on what makes me, excuse me, what makes me happy. And that's why I differ from most people, or from so many people. And I like to think that that's what's, or I don't like to think, I know that that's a major part of the reason why I feel so energetic, because I can see past all that. I can see past all the negative comments. I can see past all the craziness that's going on in the world today. I can see past every single attempt of making me feel bad, inferior, like a loser, whatever it is. Right? That's such a rare gift. It's such a rare trait that so many people don't even they don't even want to attempt to try and they live their lives like this. Once again, it doesn't mean walking around being a being a dumb clown, smiling for everything, being fake. But it means actually genuinely being happy, because genuinely being happy and focusing on the good things means that you will generate more energy. And I just can't emphasize the importance of why happiness is so crucial in our world today. Why you need happiness, why you need people who smile in your life, why you need to light other people up and make them smile, because you're doing the world a favor, because there is enough negativity as it is. And that's one of the major reasons as to why I can ramble on and on about this topic. But I think I'll end right now, because I've said what I wanted to say, really, but I believe you understand what I mean. I definitely do do think you understand what I mean here. So, having said that, go focus on the positive. Go focus on all the things that you can do for other people. Go focus on yourself. Go focus on the sun outside, the birds shining, the people smiling. Get stronger, get better in every facet of life, and that's how you generate more energy. And if you want to learn more about what I have to say, if you want to learn more about how to do it in your personal life, then I actually have various ways of helping you, but that's exclusively for people on my email list. So if you want to learn more about this, if you want to have more, if you want to receive more help from me, if you want to receive more tailored advice to your unique situation, because everyone's situation is different, then go subscribe to my email list. The link to do so is below the episode description in this episode, wherever you're watching or listening to this. It's also on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Anchor, and that's that. Thank you for tuning in today. Thank you for listening today, or whenever you're watching or listening to this. And go out and spread energy.